Well, sorry, I'm eating a Snickers. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you may be across this beautiful blue-green globe of ours. Welcome to Real News Live. It is a Toxically Masculine Tuesday. I'm your host, Mike Barra, in Las Vegas, Nevada, wearing the KISS shirt tonight, along with Blake wearing the Rocky shirt. Steve's boring. But Brooks, of course, has his wife beater on, so we're all good. Welcome to the show.
I am the most charming member of the group, so it doesn't matter.
I just keep talking until I can swallow this Snickers. Sorry, I got to watch my blood sugar. I started a new lower carb diet today, or this week.
Look at that.
And it's weird. I've been crashing because, like,
oh, yeah.
You cut out the Dr. Pepper. I mean, I must have been drinking 60 ounces a day or something because, like, it was like 4 or 5 times. I was like, you know, oh, my God, I think I'm sugar crashing. I checked my blood sugar. It's like 104, which for me is really low. 104 for me is a crash, right? And it's been a fun week. Let's just put it that way. But we're here. We made it. I just have to make sure I keep it above a certain level, and we will be fine. All right, welcome to the show. I don't know, guys. You know, I don't really know where to start today. So I figured what I'll do is I'll start kind of where my happy place is, which is picking on Thomas Massey. So that's what we're gonna do today to start the show. Let's check out Thomas Massey, the hero of America that's going to save us from the Epstein file.
Hey, we got birds.
Yeah. Can you eat them? No, birds. Oh, okay.
We got chicken for dinner.
Do we have wings? We got some Texas meat.
Hey, I heard you guys taste like chicken.
You would know, wouldn't you? Tastes like.
I guess the followers out
Barry,
there.
you know, this is for the conspiracy theory birds aren't real. Yeah, these are drones.
Hey, maybe these are the drones we were looking for.
Wave at your side.
Where are they? Costa Rica?
Yeah.
CIA.
Can I
There
get
they
a
are.
mic check on the third bird, please?
Frolicking, having
I don't think
fun.
your audio's coming in. Can we get a mic check on you, sir? Your audio's a little weak.
Well, you know, all I gotta say, guys, is that's a different video. Is to me, nothing says America first like going on a swingers cruise to Costa Rica with Marjorie Taylor Greene. Nothing says America first more than that. Wait a minute. I thought this guy was going to expose the Epstein files. By the way, Marjorie Taylor Greene, let's be honest, Trump derangement syndrome is a degenerative disease, and we can see exactly where you're going. Blake, he says he's seen the Epstein list. He's seen what we haven't seen, and he knows everything. And he has the names of all these perpetrators and victims, and he can expose the whole thing. And he gets his ass beat in his primary election, thrown out by the people of Kentucky. And by the way, when you're beat that bad in your primary, you shouldn't serve out the remainder of your term. You should just resign, Tom. You already got your pension. Just resign and let somebody who's actually an American get into that. Get in. I knew I would offend Blake with that one. Get into the seat. But he doesn't do that. He goes on a week-long vacation, a week-long swingers vacation with Marjorie Taylor Greene and her boyfriend, husband, whatever it is. in Costa Rica. Really, can you keep defending this guy, Blake? I hate to pick on you, but I'm picking on you.
No,
Really keep defending this
bring
guy?
it. It's
I mean,
good.
Why isn't he on the floor reading these names if he's got them? He's been saying he's got them for 2 years and he hasn't read them.
I know that traitor, and along with Marjorie, those traitors should have been like all the America First people should have been over in Israel kissing the wall. Then he wouldn't have even had this problem. He'd still be in office. He should have taken his vacation there. We'd all be either praising it or just turning a blind eye to it. But instead, they put $30 million into Ed Galrin, just a never Trumper, just to show get rid of Massey. So it was. I don't really like this development at all. I think Massey is probably the closest representation to like what our forefathers would be if they were still alive today. Or you could put him back in there. He's a brilliant guy, MIT guy, and a farmer. He is a old school constitutionalist guy, and I don't know why he's all of a sudden he is the great enemy, because he dares to criticize our greatest ally.
Well, I don't think it's got anything to do with the Jews. I think he got thrown out because he didn't represent the values of Kentucky, and he didn't vote the way they wanted him to vote, which it had nothing to do with Israel. It has to do with the big, beautiful bill, which he was against. Look, I was in an argument with some morons on Twitter this week, and they were telling me, I listed off, they're like, somebody said, what policies that Trump has put out there can you actually name? And I said, well, okay, no tax on tips, no tax on overtime, Doge cuts, all this stuff. And they're like, well, none of that's ever happened. And they passed no tax on tips, no tax on overtime, a whole bunch of this stuff in the big, beautiful bill. And Brooks probably knows more of the details than I do. And Massey voted against it, Blake. How is somebody America first when you wait a minute? How is somebody America first when you vote against giving the working men and women of America a break on their taxes on tips and overtime? These are people who are serving your steak dinners. Well, maybe not yours at the Lickety Split, but I'm sure there's a stripper serving you that. But how is that America first? Just explain this to me, because I think you're out of touch with why this guy lost. I don't think the Israeli money had anything to do with it, but tell me
it was not giving foreign aid. It wasn't just singling out one specific country. It was for any of them. And there's some good stuff in there, and then there's a full of pork and wasteful spending. And he said, this is not good. Let's do single item things. Let's scale this down, break it into pieces.
Congress never does that. It's
good for us and not for the donor class.
Right.
And
but Congress never does that, and you have to compromise in politics, don't you, Steve Doran? I mean,
right. One more quick thing. Massey had the most conservative voting record in Congress. I think it was like 91%.
Yeah, except on the stuff that counted, like the big, beautiful bill, like paper ballots, like same-day voting. He's against all of that stuff, Blake. Right. That's what's going to save this country, is making sure the fraud doesn't get there. Like, if he was doing this around voter fraud, I'd be fine. But he's not. He doesn't support the voter fraud measures. He doesn't support Trump going after these people, and
he wants the SAVE Act. Yeah,
he's never supported the bills that have been put out there, but he does support this bullshit about the Epstein files, which I have a feeling there's not much in the Epstein files. Brooks, you look like you want to. I'm sorry, I keep picking. I promise this will be over.
I love it.
I promise. Go ahead.
Any congressman that wants to attack or tear down a piece of legislation could do so, because they're loaded with pork. They're loaded with bridges and grants and earmarks and all that stuff. And I'm sure the big, beautiful bill had billions of that in it. And Massey could pick any one of that and say, no, I'm not going to vote against it I'm going to vote against it because of this and this and this. It's basically you get 80% or maybe 60% of what you want and 40% of what you don't want. What Trump has gotten very good at, is not funding the things that he doesn't like in this legislation. Just because the money's been allocated doesn't mean it has to be spent. And that's where he's been starving these people out. That's why USAID closed their doors. They just didn't send any money to them. And a lot of these things like Stacey Abrams, $2 billion that was given to her, they clawed all that money back.
Yeah. And, you know, another thing I would point out about USAID, Steve, which is the overseas aid package, which was basically just a money laundering scheme for the Democrats to fund their overseas terrorist operations, among other things. No leftist has won any elections since Trump shut off USAID. I mean, we in these other countries, the conservative right-leaning candidates keep winning. Isn't that an indication?
There's no money to pay for the down ballot elections. Maine, and I could name a whole bunch of states where candidates have said, I'm not running again. The reason they're not running again is because they don't have the money.
They don't have the money. Democratic Party is broke. Republican Party is $100 million ahead in terms of fundraising and money. And yet I keep hearing how the Democrats are going to win the midterm. Steve, look, isn't this guy a clown? I mean, Massey, I mean, do you think he's America first for demanding the Epstein files, even though he's got them and doesn't release them? Or do you think he's a clown?
Well, first and foremost, I mean, he said he was going to read the names on the floor of the Senate. He has not done so. But Marjorie Taylor Greene also said she was going to read the names on the floor of the Senate and never did so. She could read them now. I mean, she knows who they are. She has the list. She knows who these people are. She could read them now that she's no longer an elected official with the U.S. government. So all of these people are really smoke and mirrors. And a big issue that I have, other than politicians traveling to other countries for diplomatic events, when you have people like Marjorie Taylor Greene buying multi-million-dollar properties in other countries, you have guys like Massey spending his money, probably Marjorie Taylor Greene's money, but nonetheless vacationing in Costa Rica. They're Americans. They should be for America. If you're going to spend millions on properties, it should be here. If you're going to vacation, it should be here. We have this wonderful thing called the United States. We have more than any other country has to offer. So unless it's a diplomatic mission, it should be done here. Mm-hmm. The other thing is with these, you know, I'm not going to give Trump a pass either, especially with the IRS. There are no laws. The IRS is an administrative agency. Okay.
Right. Domiciled in Puerto Rico, by the way.
What?
Domiciled in Puerto Rico. It's not even an American company.
Right.
Now.
Oh,
so
wow.
Trump could say no taxes on overtime. Trump could tell them from an administrative perspective, don't do it. We're not going to do it anymore. Yeah. Stop it. He does not need Congress or the Senate to approve him doing that.
Yeah, I agree.
And so
why doesn't he do
there's
it?
A lot of things he could do just administratively and say, you're just not going to do it. And he doesn't do it. So I have one more point. It has nothing to do with any of this. It has to do with Blake Wally. All of you women who are listening, Blake Wally is coming to my house for a week next week. So if you pay me the right amount of money, I will see that he is unable to leave this place. And if you guys remember the cartoon, The Flintstones, where they had the slave boy, I can't remember, Tony Curtis was the slave boy.
Yeah.
And so Barney and Fred worked him to death. You can come out and you can work him to death.
Yeah.
Send me a message. I'll start.
I thought you were referring to the Stanley Kubrick film Spartacus, where Tony Curtis was the slave boy to Laurence Olivier. And Laurence Olivier said, well, you know, some people like both clams and oysters. Totally the gayest scene.
So anyway, for the right price, send me a message on Facebook. I'll take bids. And when Blake Wally's here, I'll make sure he stays here for your pleasure.
Yep.
Right.
Yeah. crack the whip and break my will. Yes, working.
All right.
There you go.
Far out.
All right,
Got
Blake.
5 acres to mow. Yeah.
I'll give you one last chance since you're going to be prisoner of Steve's for a week. It sounds like.
Wait.
I'll give you
3-4
one last
days.
chance. You know, here's what I'm looking for. If you know names that are in these files, and you claim you know them, why has he not said anything about it? Right? Why hasn't he said these names? I'll tell you why, because I think there's the same names we already know. He's released 3 names which were already known so far. Oh, why and why is he? I think he's still grandstanding on this stuff to make money off of fundraising. So I don't see any other reason why he's doing this. But why hasn't he put the names out? If he has the names, why not just tell people?
I don't know the
Bill Clinton's
procedure.
in there.
I don't know the procedure quite yet or how that works. He's promised he's going to do it before he leaves office. And I would love to see him and Marjorie Taylor Greene. I don't know if she's still in office, if she's got any, but if she's going to be there. But you've also got Lauren Boebert, and now we're going after Nancy
Marjorie
Mace.
Taylor Greene.
Marjorie Taylor Greene is already gone. She could do it right now.
She's gone. She took her money that she made off her insider trading and left.
She was also like a part of like a huge construction
Insider
business
trade.
family. That's where she got a lot of her money. She did do some insider trade. I'm not going to dispute that. Not on like Nancy Pelosi's level, but yeah, she had money to begin with. Certainly not a perfect. I'm not putting all these people on a pedestal, but I think they are our greatest patriots. We all loved them while they were fighting for Trump. They all stuck with those promises and wanted the Epstein things. And now they're all being targeted for trying to put that information out. So as soon as Epstein, MTG, Massey, MTG, Boebert, Rand Paul, Nancy Mace now, right? We're going after everybody. And I mean, if they had somebody cool going against Massey, who was also a good constitutionalist, who was on the same page at least and just had a different opinion, that would be fine. But Ed Gallerin is not a good candidate. He could even do the debates. They didn't want him there.
Okay, if he'll vote,
he's a never Trump.
You know what? Yeah. If Ed Gallerin will vote to pass tax cuts for the American people, if he will vote to have same-day voting and voter ID, which Massey has not, if he will vote to, get rid of property taxes and things like that, and if he will vote to impeach judges who violate their oaths, I'm going to support Ed Gallerin. I don't care what his background is. But Massey has resisted all of those things and fought Trump on them. So I'm glad he's gone. I wish he was gone today, not in January. I gotta say, Blake, those
you feel 3 months ago, Mike?
But look, I would be fine. I would be fine with Massey. I would stop picking on him. Not that he cares if I pick on him, but I would stop picking on him if he would simply support voter ID. Come out, start talking about that every day. Because our elections have been stolen for decades, and that's really important. All right, Brooks, I want to just get one last thing from you. Why do you think Trump has stonewalled or slow-walked the release of the rest of the Epstein files? Why is he doing that? Any thoughts?
Well, yeah, I think so, because a lot of his friends are on that list, and he doesn't want to see them go down. Also, some of them are on the list innocently. They're not perpetrators of some of the crimes, but they're on the list.
Falsely accused. Yeah. Right.
Yeah. So, Epstein was a very wealthy man and was involved with a lot of people and involved with a lot of banking. Some of these, like Dershowitz and others, it's innocent. So you can't just read the names of the people that were on the list and ruin their lives and ruin their marriages and everything because of something they didn't do. But
you can
again, if you have the pictures and you have the videos of them in a hot tub with Menudo or oiling down some 12-year-old, those are the things we need to release.
Wow. Let's hope AI doesn't make a clip out of that one.
And by the way, Deb, mind your own business. I will make money off of Blake Wally anytime I freaking want.
Right.
At least everybody will know where I am. Okay, in case I don't make it.
And go back to man whoring.
Well, okay, so Trump is mentioned so far in the Epstein. First of all, let's remind ourselves: Donald Trump is the only one. Donald Trump is the guy who brought Jeffrey Epstein into American politics in 2016. Donald Trump is the guy who relentlessly talked about him over and over again. Donald Trump's name appears thousands of times in the Epstein files. And to be completely honest, Brooks, yeah, as an example, I think every single mention basically exonerates him from doing everything illegal, because it's clear from those things that Epstein hated him. Epstein hated him because Trump is the one who turned him into the FBI, and it was Bob Mueller who cut a sweetheart deal with him of the Russia hoax that cut him a sweet deal and let him go back to pedoing. So, Blake, I just gotta ask you: do you know of any credible accusations against Donald Trump that are in the Epstein files so far, and do you give him any credit for being the one who's released 3 million of them?
Well, yeah, I had high hopes that he was going to release this stuff. I think Trump actually, what you're saying is true, that he probably did turn him into the FBI, and Trump,
I think it's pretty well established, actually.
Yes, screwed him on a real estate deal, apparently, that also pissed Epstein off.
That's Trump,
but the thing is, and I hate to say anything bad about Melania, but the latest rumor is that she might have been like some kind of high-class call girl. I've seen like they have like high-class websites for high-profile clientele, and she was this model. And some people are saying that maybe she had something to do. Not saying she's was pimped out or anything, but if that's a possibility, and that would be embarrassing for him. And then she made that awkward speech. I hold her in high regard. I don't even care if she did, but that could be something that would be politically embarrassing for Trump, even though he shouldn't be. And
she was pretty pissed off when she made that statement. It looked like she was very angry about being associated with this guy. She says she barely knew him. If something like that, the Biden administration had the Epstein files for 4 years. For 4 years, they never released a single page.
Correct.
What do you think that means in terms of Trump's guilt? Because I think it means 100% that he's exonerated in all of them. That's what I think. Not that I want him. He needs to be my hero. But if there was anything in there, wouldn't they have released it before the 2024 election? Before he came in to this government with a fucking wrecking ball? Wouldn't they have released it during a 2024 campaign? Blake? Yeah, they would have probably. Okay. All right. Go back. All right. Speaking of the Epstein files, there was a little bit of an explosion with Todd Blanche, who is the acting attorney general.
He is the acting attorney general.
Thank you. On in a congressional hearing today, talking about this very subject. Let's watch just a little bit of this hearing today.
It's public. This time, and more importantly, it's under oath. You're speaking to Congress. So let's get into it. When will you comply with the law and release all of the files?
As I said to you when we spoke before, we have complied with the law. We have reviewed.
There are 3 million more documents, and you know what you said to me? They're all duplicative, and they include another guy named Epstein.
No, I didn't.
Nobody's buying. That's
I did
what you
not
said.
say that.
That's what you said.
So look,
reclaiming my
can
time.
I answer? Can I answer the question?
You may not. I just gave you the answer you gave me.
Telling.
No, actually, it's my time, Mr. Chairman. I think those are the rules of this committee. I told him the answer he gave me, and now in public, he's trying to say something else. Please stop the clock. Can I get that time back?
No.
May I have 20 seconds back, Mr. Chairman? Thank you. I very much appreciate that. Mr. Blanche.
You don't want me to answer the question.
Mr. Blanche, as you know, I visited DOJ 3 times for as much as 10 hours, and I'll be going back. Does the Epstein File Transparency Act say that the file should be available to members of Congress with a minder at DOJ, where you're in a secure room, you can't write on any of the binders, you can take your own notes? Is that what the Transparency Act says?
It doesn't require we allow you to come to DOJ at all. We did that on our own.
What does it say in terms of
We do that.
transparency? It says that they should be made publicly available.
And they
Am
were.
I correct?
And they
Publicly
were.
available.
And they were.
Oh, let's talk about that.
Okay.
Time of the gentlelady has expired.
I beg your pardon.
Oh, yeah.
And I'd actually like to get 20 seconds back. How do I get cut off 2 minutes into this?
Because you talked through the whole thing.
Time of the gentlelady has expired.
I beg your pardon, Mr. Chairman. What rules are we operating under? Because he's under a little bit of heat for not prosecuting anyone in these monstrous crimes? I've been in the room. I have been there. This is what I had to do, to transcribe, to show what is true. What is true is that the president has lied about being on Epstein's plane, and the unredacted files prove that. There's a lot in here. I'm shocked at this. There's also this set of files in the file. This is investigation into the potential co-conspirators of Jeffrey Epstein. I almost used up all the blank ink in the hallway because it's all covered up. It's all covered up. The American people are not stupid. They know that when members of Congress have to go in and actually unredact to try to find the truth for these victims, something is corrupt. Something is corrosive.
Okay, so Steve, that must have brought back bad memories for you of dealing with Congress people who say one thing in private and then treat you completely differently on the floor. But here's what I thought was interesting about that, is that there's this, she issued several blatant lies in there. Donald Trump has never been on Jeffrey Epstein's Lolita Express. He did take rides back in another aircraft with his family, his wife, and his children, with Epstein's brother, never with Epstein, back in the 90s. When he was returning from vacations in Florida to New York City when his plane had a problem. So that's the
extent. He's already admitted that, right? I mean, it's very clear.
He said that he did. That was 10 years ago. That was available. Yeah. So, again, when this comes out, it's like, if your name is in it, you're going to be treated these monstrous crimes. What monstrous crimes? All we have are rumors, don't we, of that there were crimes? We don't have anything from any stable witnesses under oath that about any crimes that took place, because I think they were all probably 18-year-old prostitutes, to be honest with you. So what will somebody's beeping? What will solve this dilemma? I mean, do you think these rest of these documents have to come out like immediately, or do you think this is just, because to me, I'd like to see the rest of the documents out because I don't think there's much of anything in them, and I would like this to be over with. Why isn't it over with?
Because the DOJ is not doing their job. I mean, they've got over 6 million pages of documentation. You can't tell me out of all those pages of documentation that there's not enough there to prosecute a multitude of people. Maybe some of the people in there are innocent, but they're all not innocent. And there are pictures that have been redacted, and there are things that have been covered up. And, when you've got something that is of this magnitude, it should be completely released. There should be transparency, but they had ample time to begin investigations and be able to say, hey, Mike Baer is on the list, but he's not guilty of anything. We've investigated this. Blake Walley's on the list. As we all know, Blake Walley is a little suspect when it comes to his relationship. So, yeah, he's guilty. We're going to get him. But, they've had ample time to be able to explain this to the general public, and they've done nothing except conceal the documentation. So, of course, everybody's upset. And I don't care if it's independent, Democrat, Republican. If people are rattling the cage to get them off center and get them moving on this, I'm all for them. I don't care who's doing it.
Okay. Blake, do you agree with anything she said in there? Because I think, like I said, I do believe it's extremely well established that Trump has said that he was never on the Lolita Express, which has been proven by the flight logs from the Lolita Express. and other aircraft. But I mean, it seems like Democrats just want to keep this going forever to imply that Trump's on it. I don't know what good it's doing them because they keep losing to Trump in elections. So why do you think it's time that we just sort of get this over with and put these things out? Or is Trump going to wait till after the midterms? But it does seem like technically they've complied with the law as far as it goes. If the rest are duplicates and or unsustainable hearsay, then you don't have to. Would you have to release them or not? I don't know.
No, I agree there with Steve. As far as I know, they are in violation of the law by not releasing them. This was Massey's doing. It wasn't his responsibility, but he's the one that's taken the fall for this. This should have been Trump pushing this stuff out, especially if he's got nothing to hide, and give the Democrats what they want because it'll come and blow back on them. But that is not what has happened. I think Trump, maybe the worst that happened. I think he was on a plane. I'm not sure if it was a Lolita Express. I'm not sure if we've seen the flight logs. He's never been to the island. I think that it's possible that Jeffrey Epstein introduced him to Melania and that he's been on the plane. But I think that's probably about as bad as it gets. But it's mostly about incriminating his friends and that. But it's still a massive cover up. And never forget how bad they are. They've only they've shown like the ones that are the least damaging. And there is a lot of really evil stuff in there, especially when they're talking about what was like beef jerky and grapes. There's all kinds of lingo and stuff and code, which goes into the old, gate pizza type of thing. So there's a lot they don't want to show you. And remember when Fox News, when all of these things broke and they spent like 2 weeks just nonstop 24/7 coverage of Samantha Guthrie to cover it up. That shows you how bad that stuff is and how many people are
however, Blake, there are these quote victims who, again, I believe were teenage prostitutes, adult teenage prostitutes, not victims, not rape victims. They volunteered. Melania, when she came out for that quote awkward speech that you talked about, she said, "Okay, fine. You claim you have all this proof, then go under oath and tell everybody, testify to it." Not one of them has taken her up on
Exactly.
Go, Brooks.
Yeah, well, all the quote unquote victims that they had lined up, as anybody interviewed you from the FBI, that's what Melania did. She came out and said, if you have the proof, go under oath and say it. And none of them would go under oath, not one. They were just there to create a narrative against Trump. That's what they were there for. And they were there to create a narrative against Trump's FBI. They weren't there to testify. But that's the least of what's going on, these quote unquote victims. What about the photographs? What about the videos from the island? They surveilled everything. That's what Epstein was. He was a blackmail operation. He was designed, he built that island for the specific purpose of gathering dirt on military people, political leaders, religious leaders, social leaders, company CEOs, and that's what they did. And a lot of them are implicated. They were serviced by underage girls and boys, and that stuff needs to be prosecuted.
Honestly, based on what I've seen so far, I don't see much evidence of any of that.
Well, you could say that, Mike, but anytime you have a prostitution ring on that scale, I guarantee you have children.
There's some underage girls, right? There would definitely be some that had fake IDs that were 16 and said they were 18.
Well, but not only that, if you're trying to stand before the American people, let's just say they're all of legal age and they're prostitutes. And if you're trying to stand before the American people and talk about how righteous you are,
right,
whether you're the head of the corporation or whether you're a politician or whether you're a pastor or whatever, and you're trying to act like, that you are the backbone of America and you're involved in that nonsense, you need to go.
Yeah.
Immediately.
And it will ruin your marriage and everything. But now you have to also understand these girls were recruited. They were groomed. And in a lot of cases, I would say in most of the cases, the mothers were involved as well.
Yeah.
I can hear them now because I've seen it in the beauty contests. that my in-laws have been in. I can just hear them now. Don't worry, baby. It'll only hurt for a little while, and then you'll be famous.
Wow. Okay.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. I've heard it. I've heard those words from the moms as they put the makeup on their little 11-year-old girls to go to a beauty contest.
The Jean-Benet Ramsey thing. Yeah. Do you guys think, let me ask you one last question. Do you think Jean-Benet Ramsey is in the remaining Epstein files?
Is what?
Jean-Benet Ramsey, is she in the remaining files? The truth about what happened to her.
I would say.
Well, look what happened to Miley Cyrus. She went there as Hannah Montana, and she came out as what we see today.
Do you think, and also, so what do you think? Do you think Jean-Benet Ramsey's in those files, Blake?
I think it's possible, depending on how far back the emails go. I don't know exactly, the year and the timeline, because I can't even quite remember when that was. I almost want to say it was
before. It was
2008, 2002, something like that.
It was
late
like pre-cell phone. It was back when we had those cell phones that were like a brick.
Yeah. Big giant ones. Yeah.
Somebody knows something.
All right, one last question then. Do you think Katy Perry is Jean-Benet Ramsey?
Probably. Another rumor. Taylor Swift, others. I mean, look at the P. Diddy, the whole stinking cesspool of sex and betrayal and deals that are made to blackmail other people. That's where all this power comes from.
Taylor Swift is the daughter of Anton LaVey, the head of the Church of Satan.
What?
Huh?
Oh, haven't you seen those comparisons to LaVey's wife? Literally, Taylor Swift and LaVey's wife are a dead match. They're just a dead match. And you know me, I believe in
there are pictures of her on P. Diddy's bed, so that's how far that goes.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I would believe that. I know Katy Perry is involved in some weird stuff. I remember seeing like the video where she's like hanging out with Marina Abramovich and doing some creepy witch rituals, and now she's with Justin Trudeau or Fidel Castro's kid.
Are you
and
sure
Lady Gaga.
I thought it was Lady Gaga.
Lady Gaga? Did I get it mixed up?
Yeah.
It's
Lady Gaga.
Aren't they both
Lady,
I think.
Yeah. Katy Perry's are too.
All right. Thank you guys for the super chats. Laura, Brandon Christian. Do those other two countries submit to Forex? We're waiting on from last night. Not as far as I know. I have not heard an update on that. There was one country that was supposed to come on board last night, and then two more would complete the so-called currency basket. Thanks for the best news on the internet. Well, we're kind of struggling tonight because there's not a lot going on. However,
I just got a text message. I don't know if it's true or not, but I just got a text message that we are attacking super freighters full of oil that are trying to go through and break through the blockade on the Straits of Hormuz.
Oh, wow.
I will check on that briefly, but I was just going to go next, Steve, to Iran, where it's just so hilarious listening to the Democrats like spin this, but Iran's winning the war because they launched a couple of drones at, I don't know, Saudi Arabia. Where is this? A few drones, couple of missiles. So, Iran just bombed U.S. military bases in Kuwait. Looks to me like they got intercepted. So, what you're seeing is interceptions happening here. And then there was another. There's another story. Rubio was on the Hill this morning and said the war is over. Let's listen to Mark.
Iran has lost a substantial percentage of their missile launchers, and their economy is far worse today, and I mean far worse today than it was 6 to 9 months ago. And they are looking at hundreds of billions of dollars of reconstruction costs just to get to where they were 6 months ago.
Mr. Rubio, you keep telling us how we're winning this war. The president keeps saying,
well, the war's over.
Completely annihilated. The war is not over.
So the Secretary of State, with a straight face, just told Congress that the war on Iran is over. Even though we all know that obviously the war in Iran is not over.
Yeah, it is, pretty much.
It's not even the first time Secretary Rubio has made an obviously false statement to Congress.
Like you did?
He sat there with a straight face and said that no one had lost their lives because of his cuts to medical aid around the world.
Oh God.
Even though,
okay, all right. That's the disgusting, perverted, sicko Pete butt plug. Pete, why don't you go get something rammed up your ass and you'll feel better. Okay. Sorry about that, Blake. But so there is some stuff happening. I'm gonna check Steve on what you just reported. Oh, by the way, Roland Del Rey, $40. Poor Blake.
Hell yeah.
And Brandon, yes, as I understand it, once all of the assets are brought on ledger and officially in the books, that thing can go. That thing that we don't talk about on the show can go, which would be good. So, Brooks, is the Iran war over or not? You've got the Democrats. Oh, we're still at war. It's like, I'm sorry, a couple of nutty factions launching a couple of drones at Kuwait does not constitute a war from my perspective. It's more terrorism. It's remote terrorism. It's not a war. It doesn't seem like there's really a war going on. Are we still at war or are we not?
Well, what Rubio's talking about is our offensive operations in Iran. They're over with.
Yeah.
We have a blockade now on Iran, and Iran can't get anything into or out of anything on the Strait of Hormuz. We have their money tied up. We have sanctions on them. Their economy is collapsing, and the IRGC is not receiving any money at all. Europe had a workaround. What they were doing is taking oil from Iran during the sanction period now to sea, and then transferring it over to other ships, raising a Malaysian flag, and then sailing to Europe. That's how Europe was getting its oil out of Iran. That is all stopped now. All that's done. So it's actually the war in Iran is over. We're not doing any offensive operations in Iran at all. I think we should be, but we're not.
Yeah, this is an example of the media, of how biased the mainstream media is. This is the New York Times. It says, breaking news. Iran launched ballistic missiles and drones at Kuwait, Bahrain, and civilian mariners, but failed to hit its targets, the U.S. military said. Follow live updates. And it shows a picture of a completely devastated city, devastated by a bomb. So their headline says this did not happen, yet the picture they used to highlight it tries to pretend like it did happen. So apparently what happened is they fired a few drones and missiles and didn't hit anything, Steve. So are we at war or not? You're at war. You tell me.
Well, I mean, it's all semantics. Are we, in my opinion, if you're taking a defensive posture, you're using military ships and troops, and you are prepared to fire and attack at any moment, you are at war. It's not a police action, just like the Vietnam War. It's a police action. Bullshit. People were dying every day. They were exchanging fire every day. So if you're prepared to exchange fire, if you have military troops committed to a particular area, I'm sorry, you're at war. It may not be as active as it was before, but you're still at war.
Okay.
Well, we are withdrawing all of those back out of Iran.
Well, then how are they? He says the blockade is going to stand in the Strait.
Because it's right at the edge.
How does that stand?
Because it's right at the edge in the Suez. It's not actually in Iranian territory.
Yeah, well,
we're just preventing anything from going in and coming out.
I understand that, but if you're prepared to fire on it and blow it up, and you're using military troops to do it.
Well, the position they've taken is to draw Iran to shoot at them, but they have plenty of time to defend themselves. If they were close in, they might not be able to do that. So that's why they've withdrawn, several hundred miles back.
I know, but it's semantics. I mean, you can look at it a multitude of different ways. Now, is the news media exaggerating it? Are the Democrats exaggerating? Yes, but you're still there, and you are prepared to use military force at any moment.
Steve, just a second. By your standard that you just set, then when the United States blockaded Cuba in the Cuban Missile Crisis, we were technically at war with the Soviet Union. Is that
absolutely? Absolutely, we were. Okay. But that's why they negotiated, because neither the Soviet Union nor the United States wanted to go nuclear, but absolutely they were. They were both prepared to do what they had to do. And had it not been for nuclear weapons, we'd have been mixing it up. There's no doubt in my mind.
Okay. I got just a couple more issues that I want to talk about. First of all, this is pretty hilarious. Hunter Biden congratulated himself on 7 years sober today. Here he is 3 years ago on the White House balcony on, I don't know what it was, 4th of July or something, totally coked up.
Oh,
They
yeah.
found cocaine. They found cocaine in the White House, but he's claiming he's 7 years sober. Yeah, sure you are, Hunter. And I bet you haven't screwed a stripper in a long time either. So, I mean, what a clown show. But, all right, here's the main thing I wanted to talk about, which is that Donald Trump sued the IRS for illegally leaking his tax returns. There was nothing in them, of course, but they illegally leaked his tax returns. He got a settlement. The settlement was $1.8 billion was going to be put into a fund to pay back the January 6th protesters. Brooks and Blake, you guys could have been among them had you been victims of the judicial, basically the Gestapo witch hunt that took place afterwards by the Democrats. And a federal judge, a district judge who doesn't have any authority over this, struck it down and said you can't give that money. Now, there's still some debate about it, but Trump agreed not to fight on this $1.8 billion fund. And this is where I think Donald Trump is a wimp. Why, Brooks? Let's start with you. Why does he not fight these shitheads? Because, let's face facts. The judge has no authority to rule on this. It's not his jurisdiction in the first place. So Trump should just say,
it's not his money. It's not his money.
We're going to distribute the money to the January 6th victims anyway. Why does Trump always cave and comply with these judges and respect their authority when they don't have any? Clearly they don't have any. Is he getting bad advice from Susie Wiles and Pam Blondie? Is that what the problem is?
Well, it could be. I mean, I believe this judicial coup that we've been undergoing the whole time Trump's been in office, both terms, needs to be stopped. And the only organization that can stop them is Congress. Congress set up the court, and Congress can take apart the court. They're the only ones with the authority to do it. So, these judges that oppose his executive orders or oppose his cabinet picks or get these judgments or injunctions against him doing his agenda, they should be stopped by Congress. Now, I don't know why Trump is not fighting this. He was awarded the $1.8 billion by the IRS for illegally. It was a settlement. Yeah. They leaked his tax returns to the New York Times. The New York Times, I remember when Rachel Maddow got her hands on them, and she was having an orgasm on screen, absolutely having an orgasm. And then she started going through it. And she said, wait a minute, he paid like $50 million in taxes.
Yeah, he paid a lot of taxes. Yeah.
Everything was legal on those returns. Mm-hmm. But the fact that they were leaked and that Rachel Maddow went through them on her TV show is a complete violation of his constitutional rights.
It absolutely is.
And he had the right to sue, and he had the right to get the settlement. Now he should have the right to do whatever the fuck he wants with that money.
Well, it is his money. I mean, that's the whole point. If it's my money, I win a settlement, it's my paycheck, money I've earned, money I've saved, I can give it to whoever I want. And it's none of the court's business. They have no reason to intervene. He should have said, thank you very much for your opinion. It's my money. It belongs to me, and I'll give it to whoever the heck I want to give it to. That's right. What he should have said.
And there were a lot of people who lost their lives.
Now he's put them in a position.
Yeah, there were suicides. There were people who lost their lives. But
he has put the court in a position that now they can go to Mike Barra. Not that we get any of this, by the way, guys. They can go to Mike Barra and say, you cannot give these guys gift certificates. By the way, I know Brooks didn't get a gift certificate for his birthday, like you always say we get stuff.
That's right. Well, I thought it was just for Christmas. We were saving up for
Christmas.
You said birthdays and Christmas. It was his birthday. He got nothing. Zip. But that gives the Fed. Now he has set a precedent that the court can come to you. Now Mike's going to use this against us. He's going to say the court told him
really
that
cool.
he can't give
court
us a
told me
birthday.
I can't give you a birthday gift.
But I mean, in all sincerity, all joking aside, they can now do that. So if I hit the lottery and I decide that I'm going to give you guys $3 million a piece, whatever, the court can now intervene and go, well, we don't like those guys. They're too outspoken against the United States. You can't
exactly.
Yeah.
Because the president of the United States.
No, they will allow me to give money to Blake because Blake supports Thomas Massey. And hates him. So they'll allow me to do that.
I don't know.
But I mean, he has set a precedent that is extremely dangerous. Because now, I mean, even from this perspective, let's say you hit the lotto or you come into multi-millions of dollars and you want to support Cats for Mike, and support all the stuff you do with cats.
Open the lickety
They could
splits.
say no. They could say no. You can't give him that money because we don't want him taking stray cats to the vet in Vegas. You can't do that. And based on what the president's just done, they'll get away with it.
Okay, Blake, I have a theory on why Trump is not fighting these judges, why he's complying with these ridiculous orders. Like, to me, the worst one in the first administration was when he kicked out that reporter. What was his name? The CNN reporter, Joe. I want to say Joe.
Oh, I remember that guy. Jim Acosta.
Jim Acosta.
Yeah.
He actually assaulted a female White House aide who was trying to do her job and take the microphone away from him after the president said, "You're done." And Trump let him back in. And, at that point, I would have said to the judge, it's very simple, Judge. No fucking judge decides who gets into the White House. The president does, and I'm the president, and this motherfucker is never setting foot in the White House. Again, that's what I would have said to the judge. Trump didn't do that, and it made me really mad, and it still makes me mad, as you can tell. I'm still pissed about that one. Yeah. But here's my theory, Blake, and I want you to tell me if I'm crazy or not. Right. My theory is the reason why Trump is not challenging the judiciary on a constitutional basis, even though he could. My theory is that he's not doing that because he's going to need to use their rulings when they rule on the election fraud of 2020 to enforce his right to run for a third term. Do you think I'm crazy, or do you think there might be something to that?
No, it's a solid 5D chess possibility. I think that's a good one. I hope that comes to fruition. Yeah, it's sad. I don't know why any judge could possibly step in this. I was going to say maybe he just wants to save the money. Like, oh, well, sorry, guys. We're just going to have to keep it because they won't let me do it.
Yeah, that could be too. But, I mean, how much money does Donald Trump need? I don't know. Go ahead.
No, I agree. I mean, I want to see the justice spot to these guys.
Spending money.
Yeah. I just wish Trump would abolish the IRS and give these guys some money. That'd be great.
Well, yeah, we tried to get $1 million for every single person that was incarcerated by the J6 committee, and $5 million to the families of each dead person, because there were like 15 deaths that occurred because of the J6 committee. People that died, they committed suicide, they died in prison without medical care. And those families should be compensated. That's what we tried to get. I think Trump wants to go beyond that.
Well, the point is that none of that's going to happen now because Trump caved. And he doesn't look very strong to me when he caves like that. By the way, do you guys make anything? They say Trump has not been seen in public in 6 or 7 days. Does any of that concern you? Do you think I don't even know if that's true or not, but that's what they're saying. Does that concern you?
He's done it before.
Yeah.
We had an exciting phone call that was reported yesterday, but I don't know if we have any video of it. So no, I can't confirm or
deny. Okay. All right. Well, 2 more issues that I think are important that we're going to talk about. If you did not know, yesterday was the start of Pride Month in America, or supposedly
Whatever.
in corporate America. And everybody started changing their company logos to these fag rainbow Pete butt plug logos. And yet there were 8 NFL teams, football teams, who did not. And I would like to read off a list of the names who did not do anything to do the rainbow. Look at this rainbow bullshit. Those teams are the Dallas Cowboys. Good for you. The Los Angeles Rams. Good for you. The New Orleans Saints. Good for you. The New York Giants. The Cincinnati Bengals. The Cleveland Browns, Brian. The Kansas City Chiefs. The Las Vegas Raiders. The New York Jets. The Pittsburgh Steelers. And the Tennessee Titans, Blake.
Yeah.
Good for all of you guys for not doing anything to acknowledge Pride Month. I wish my Seattle Seahawks were on that list, but they are not.
I told you that they're gay, and you didn't believe it.
Yeah. So, do you think that there's fine? I mean, I can't believe people are still doing this Pride Month shit, because the American people have showed pretty clearly they're voted against that stuff. Blake, I mean, any thoughts or comments? And I got to say, I'm proud of those teams, and if any of them wins the Super Bowl, well, except for the Rams, I'm going to be fine with that. But Blake, any thoughts on this? And is the culture shifting a little bit?
It should be shifting a little bit. I guess it's going to go, locally. Of course, Tennessee, very red state, and you're from Seattle. I'm from Minnesota, very progressive, liberal. They're not ready for something like that. I mean, I'm not against gay people at all. I think I'm happy that they can go do their pride thing on their own time. They don't need to force it into our culture. They don't need to force it into our sports ball. I don't like that, where everybody just has to comply.
I mean,
or they got to shove it in everyone's face at Target or whatever.
There was a
Bud
commercial
Light.
A few years ago. There was a commercial a few years ago that the NFL ran 2 years ago. And it said, football is this, football is that, football is for men, football is for women. And then it said football is gay. And I'm like, no, the fuck it isn't. No, football is the least gay shit out there.
Yes,
it's getting gayer. It's getting gayer, but it ain't gay yet. Steve, do you think there's any culture or Brooks? Go ahead.
Well, I just think when you need to have a parade to walk down the street with your dick hanging out for little kids to see, something's wrong. Something is wrong.
Everybody's pissed off that Trump is desecrating the White House grounds by building a what is it? MMA
Gladiator arena
on it. And I'm like,
Octagon.
oh yeah. Like it wasn't desecrated when Joe Biden let topless trannies trample around on this exact same lawn. Give me a break.
Wow.
Steve, any thoughts? Any thoughts on this?
Well, look, people have a right to live as they want in this country, but they don't have a right to shove their views and ideas down everybody's throat. They do not have a right to take our children and teach them things that most of us consider inappropriate. Yeah. And so, if you want to have pride because you're an infected dick sucker, thank you very much. If you want to have pride in that, go ahead. But don't try to shove it down my throat. And don't try to get me to applaud you for being somebody who exhibits aberrant behavior, both privately and publicly, because I'm not going to do it.
Yeah.
As far as I'm concerned, it's like, you have a right to do what you want to do in the privacy of your own home, just like I do, but you do not have the right to do those kinds of things publicly in the streets, in our schools, around small children. Just absolutely cannot.
Hang on a second.
Well, I mean, here are the facts. Gay people do not breed. They don't multiply. So the only way they can grow their community is to groom straight people, groom kids, and make them think that they're non-binary, make them think that they're gay. That's how they grow their community.
That's true. And children are not born gay. You're not born gay.
No.
You are groomed to be gay. There's not, and love is not love. So screw you with love is love. You are not born gay. Everybody that I know that's gay was molested or groomed in some way as a child, you are not born gay. If people were born gay, then the animal kingdom would have tons of gay cats and dogs and everything else, and they don't.
And they don't. Yeah, I know they don't. And the gay crowd tries to say, oh, you know, there's homosexual behavior among penguins, and I'm like, yeah, no, that's because you can't tell the difference between a male and female penguin. So sometimes they accidentally try to hump the wrong guy, the wrong girl. So that does happen. But I mean, that's true. There is generally no homosexual behavior whatsoever amongst the animal kingdom.
What if they do, but they don't breed? So we wouldn't know. They would just die off. Natural selection in the animal kingdom. You know, animals are great, but they live in the moment. They don't think about things like that.
Animals have been studied for hundreds of years.
Right.
They've been in cages, incarcerated, in laboratories. None have ever exhibited gay behavior.
Yeah.
It's an interesting subject because you've got a great point there, Steve. That could be from molestation and certainly plays a part. But every gay person I've ever talked to says that they were born that way. They've always had it, and they've had to hide in the closet because they couldn't tell anybody.
They had to hide in the closet.
That was their life.
Look,
so that was saying you're making a choice. So are you making a choice, Steve, when you choose a woman just because that's a natural thing, or are you attracted to the man? You love that masculinity,
for a
but
male
that's
to be
gay, and you're
attracted.
saying no. I want.
It is a natural thing for a man to be attracted to a
woman.
It's natural.
Absolutely.
Yeah. There's natural and there's unnatural, and to me, the most natural thing in the world is two penthouse pets going at it.
I wouldn't be if women weren't attracted to you naturally, Blake.
Yeah,
you wouldn't be on this show because the only reason you're here is for eye candy to attract the female population. And so we wouldn't need you. We just kick your ass off of here.
There you go.
Again, I am opposed to homosexuality unless it involves two penthouse pets and a 4K video camera, in which case I'm all for it.
Okay.
Wow.
Yeah, I think that's an interesting debate, nature versus nurture. That still is undecided.
Well,
I have always,
even if they're not molested, if you look at the way their parents treat them, I'll tell you what, this happened at Los Alamos. There was a scientist there, and they had two boys,
Bob Lazar
and his wife. They decided to raise one as a girl and one as a boy.
Oh, wow.
And so the one that they decided to raise as a girl, they were constantly encouraging him to be gay, telling him he was gay, telling him that he was born in the wrong body, blah, 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 blah. That kid ended up killing himself.
Oh, my God.
Wow. Well, which brings up an even more interesting subject, which is there are cases out there where they say that homosexuality, especially male, is a parasitic infection.
They need to get a hold of Brooks and get some ivermectin.
Because the parasites want to get into another body, right? So they'll take anything, male, female, they don't know. It's actually an easier path to boo-foo a guy than it is, because guys will just have sex with anything. And you don't have to qualify yourself like you do with a woman. And there have actually been a few cases. They are anecdotal at this point, but it's being studied. They gave ivermectin to homosexuals, and they they discharged all the parasites. And there are a couple cases where the guy said, "I'm not gay anymore. I like women now." So that's mind blowing. So there's a lot to.
Ask Milo Yiannopoulos about that.
Yeah, I have.
That would be a good case if you can convert him.
Disgusting behavior.
Not to make this a gay debate, but I will just say I have known a few guys where they felt very strongly it was hormonal, like there was some hormonal imbalance that created their homosexual behaviors.
It's a choice. It's a choice. They choose.
It still is a choice. Ultimately, you do have control over your biology. So, all right. Is that it? Did I have all my one-liners out of that one? Yeah, I did. All right.
I don't know why you guys. I mean, you live in Vegas, and Blake doesn't live far from me in Tennessee. Am I the only guy who gets a tan here who actually goes outside and does something and gets in the sun?
So.
You guys are like white as hell.
I am so pale. I am pure. Oh, that's another one I wanted to talk about. Damn, we're gonna have to go a little long tonight, guys, because I got a couple more. Let's go back to the NFL. Let's go back. Hang on.
But it's funny you mentioned that, Steve. I did today. I actually went. I took a mile walk with my shirt off, and then sat by the pool for an hour.
All right, lady.
It's just going to take a while.
Blake taking a walk with his shirt off. Give me some money.
Okay. Very Irish English. It's hard to get a tan, but I'll get there. I'm working on it.
Yeah, I mean, I'm very pale, Steve, and I'll get sunburned really bad if I go out.
I don't have any melanin left in my skin.
30 minutes, and I'm a lobster. So that brings up another subject, which is that the NFL has this policy called the Rooney Rule, which is one of the worst, dumb, stupid fucking things they ever did. Where teams, the Rooney Rule, named after Art Rooney, who came up with it, where if you hire a minority coach or a minority general manager, or there's a list of positions, if you hire a minority for those positions, you got an extra draft pick, which is a huge advantage. They're third round picks, which are pretty good. Well, the Seattle Seahawks today had one of their shut up, Barkley, had one of their
don't be mean to
the
front office people was hired by the Minnesota Vikings to be their new general manager, and in return for that, Seattle Seahawks get 2 compensatory third-round picks in the 2027 and 2028 drafts because he was a minority hire. This is what the guy looks like. This is what the guy, that's the rule. This is what the guy looks like.
That's a minority?
It doesn't look minority to me.
He's whiter than I am. He's whiter than I am. They are literally trying to say this guy is black because supposedly his dad was black. Oh, really? Where's the dark skin? Where's the curly hair? He's not fucking black. Has the entire planet gone insane or what? And I got another example to show you in a second. But Blake, is this not pure insanity? Has the entire world gone insane?
Yeah, I didn't know that. I know that there was some compensation, but I didn't know that was the reason. That makes no sense.
And the San Francisco 49ers got 2 third-round picks 5 years ago when Mike McDaniel was hired as the head coach in Miami for being black. Here's Mike McDaniel. This is Mike McDaniel. Again, whiter than Steve Doran is. So I guess I just want a social commentary.
You can identify under the government rules. You can identify as whoever you want to be.
There were people arguing with me online that he's black, and I'm like, "What the fuck are you talking about?"
We have a mayor, Mayor Vi, short for Violet. She's in her 4th term. We actually forced her to resign. I'm glad she's going to be gone by the end of this month. Right? She's not even going to serve 1 year of her 4th term. She's whiter than me. And yet she identifies as an African American. And that's why the NAACP is totally beside themselves, because the city is considering another mayor that's not black. And they said, you can't replace a black mayor with a non-black mayor. That's the most racist thing I've ever heard in my life. But that's what the NAACP stands.
See if I can run, because I identify as a black lesbian.
That's what you should do. That's what you should do. Because if those two guys are black, and I mean, I had Seahawks fans defending this guy, and I'm like, he's not black, he's white. What the fuck is wrong with you? Has the entire planet gone insane? That's insane.
It's been insane since 2020. It's totally off the rail. So Mike, I mean, that's bold of you. So do you think that the Vikings should get those 3rd-round draft picks back? I'll take them back.
Well, the picks are created out of whole cloth. The Vikings do not have to give those up. The Seahawks just get 2 picks at the end.
Oh,
of
at the very end of the third round.
In the next
Okay,
2 years,
compensatory.
but still,
picks.
it's
Gotcha.
like he's not black. And here's what I don't get: why doesn't anybody who's in the NFL media, even Jason Whitlock? I tried to get Jason Whitlock, who's pretty conservative, to comment on this stuff, and nothing. Nobody will say these people are not black. Wow. What the fuck are we doing?
Yeah,
I don't know why President. This would be a great issue for President Trump to bring up and say, "Okay, has the world gone insane?"
Yeah,
it has. It has gone insane. Speaking of
insane, it's gone completely insane.
Speaking of insane, Barack Obama, for his new presidential library, had a statue of himself commissioned. And he insisted that only a black sculptor, are there any? A black sculptor do this sculpture.
Wow.
So they did, and it was unveiled. It was unveiled this week.
I can't wait.
And here it fucking is. This is Barack Obama. And I immediately connected. I said, you know what? You know what that is? He looks like the vampire people from the Omega Man with Charles Heston. That's exactly what he fucking looks like. I mean, again, this was your, even Charlton Heston thinks that was funny. Again,
I thought he kind of looked like Curious George.
What the fuck? And I mean, I guess these people do this just because they.
What is he supposed to look like? Ron Howard? Is that why Ron Howard?
Yeah, it's like he looks more like Ron Howard or the vampire people from the Omega Man than he looks like Barack Obama.
Wow.
It's like you could have at least made it out of bronze or something. I mean, something that will get darker over the. Just like Jesus Christ, the world has gone insane.
That's worse than the Dwayne Wade one, and then they had that when they were the MLK memorial. They had also was it another minority, and it was a hideous thing of like hugging, and nobody knew what the hell it was.
Yeah.
So,
If all I can say is if this is okay, why isn't blackface okay? Zeke says, I think it captures his creepiness perfectly. Lisa says, I did my DNA and I have 1% African. Does that qualify me as a minority also?
Absolutely.
I would say yes. You should go now and register as black.
Get that reparations check.
Maybe you'll get that reparations
Elizabeth
check.
Warren, get into Harvard. Yeah.
All right, I have one last issue I wanted to get to. Brooks, any comments? Go ahead.
Well, I wanted to say one thing, but I'll say it at the end. Go ahead.
Okay. The War Department issued some more government UFO files a week or so ago. I was on Fox News about it. I was on Russian TV about it, which I'm proud of.
We all know that you've been on Fox, and we all know because it's plastered everywhere, all day, every day.
Good. Then my campaign is getting. But there's one video. There's actually two that I thought could not be explained. One big black thing that I don't know what the hell it is, but it's definitely not of this earth. And then there was another one called instant acceleration, which is what they labeled it. It's an object that is being tracked for 2 or 3 or 4 minutes, and then it suddenly seems to accelerate. And when it does that, the camera instrument loses its lock, and it goes into like a vertical mode. And critics, debunkers are trying to say, oh, well, all that happened is the camera was gimbaling and it reached the end of its gimbal, and then it just appeared that this thing took off at high speed. I want to show you this video, and Brooks, I want to get your reaction to this. I don't know if you've reacted to it yet. And then I'm going to show you something really interesting. This is, let's get over there. This is the instant acceleration video from the War Department. So it's a bright object. It's bright because it's hot. This is an infrared instrument, low resolution. It kind of changes shape a little bit, but that just could be the reflective, the reflection. It's locked into the target reticule. Then it moves off, and then boom. And they start looking for it, and they can't find it. So these are various versions of this. I want you to notice what happens to the camera when it takes off, because it's going to do this thing where it slides over to the right. or to the up top of the screen. It slides up to the top center of the screen. And then the camera goes vertical. It just stops. So the argument has been that, oh, the object does not accelerate. The object does not accelerate. The camera just loses its track. Okay, so there's been a debate on this all over Twitter. And I think this is extremely anomalous. And so I just said, hey, Grok, does this object start accelerating before the camera motion stops? And by the way, this is a flying platform. So whatever was tracking this thing, and the original video goes on, it's almost 3 minutes long. I mean, they track this thing and it flies all over the place, and then it just zips away. And you're telling me that this instrument tracked it for 3 minutes and then suddenly couldn't track it anymore. So I dumped it into Grok, and I said, Grok, tell me what this video shows. And Grok came back and said, the object accelerates before the camera goes into what I called standby mode. The video shows continuous active tracking of a single bright, then dark object against a dark, grainy infrared background, blah, blah, blah. The apparent instantaneous acceleration is clearly visible in the midsection of the footage, roughly 100 to 160 seconds in. The object suddenly changes brightness. It changes shape and contrast, the relative position, speed, while the reticule is still actively centered on it in the sampled frames. And then it accelerates out of the frame. So Grok says categorically that it accelerates before the camera stops its tracking movements, meaning, I believe, Brooks, meaning that the camera goes, I think they're tracking along, and the camera loses it, and then it just goes into standby mode. Is my analysis wrong? And is Grok's analysis
No,
wrong?
you're right. And I don't know what the camera that was filming it, what it was on. It was on a jet, on a helicopter or something. Obviously, some kind of gun camera was tracking it.
Yeah.
And then it just took
infrared.
off.
Yeah.
So, and that's the gun cameras are usually infrared, not always, but usually they're infrared, and it accelerated off. That's what it looks like to me. And I've never questioned, because I've seen craft myself. I've photographed them, and sometimes they just almost blink out of existence. They go so fast.
Yeah. Steve, you and I had a conversation this week about Bob Lazar. And
Yes, we did.
Folks, at some point, we're going to do a video with Steve where he's going to tell you, Steve has seen Bob. Can I say this, Steve, in public?
Why don't we wait till we go live?
All right. Steve knows a lot about Bob Lazar. Let's put it that way. And it ain't good for Bob Lazar. So I wanted to believe him, but I don't. Right. You've said that we humans, we have human technology.
All right. This is my take.
And I did write a book in 2016 called Hidden Agenda, where I basically argued we've had flying saucer technology, anti-grav technology since 1960.
Right.
Tell me what you think about this video, and it doesn't necessarily have to be aliens.
This is my take. If there's such things as aliens, which I don't believe there are, they're not from another world. But in working at Los Alamos with all of those brilliant people, they come up with things on a daily basis that would blow your mind. If there are aliens, we gave them the technology. They didn't give it to us for us to do reverse technology on their stuff. We gave them our stuff. Like I said, throughout the years, all these people, this has to be a UFO. Turns out to be an actual US-made aircraft. American scientists are the most brilliant people under the sun. I've seen things. I'll just tell you one thing that I can talk about now because they're everywhere. When I was at Los Alamos, because it was a security risk, they hadn't come out yet with thumb drives. And they brought us in and they said, hey, we're coming out with these thumb drives. They're going to be out in the next several years or a couple years, whatever it was. And you'll be able to stick this in the computer and download everything that's in that computer on this little thumb drive, go in the bathroom, stick it up your ass, and get it out of the laboratory, and nobody will be the wiser. And we're like, come on, this is total baloney.
Yeah.
Really, you can stick it in and take every bit of data out of the computer and put it on this little drive. And they're like, absolutely. And it won't be long. And they showed us composites of it, what it was going to look like, how it was going to be used, how they could scale it down once it came to fruition, and they were able to play with it a little bit. And they talked about information. And this was the other thing we found completely unbelievable, which today is like no big deal, nobody cares, was putting things out on the cloud. They said, pretty soon you'll just have this box that puts all your information out on the cloud, and it'll store everything, and you'll be able to go to any computer anywhere in the world and pull this stuff off and get your reports and blah, 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 blah. And we're like, no, never going to happen. Never going to, because we used to like have suitcases with special computers that you had to haul around with you because nothing like that was ever going to happen. And that is just the tip of the iceberg of the things that these guys would pull off.
Yeah.
The technology we have here in the United States and even worldwide, I mean, we're not the only brilliant people on the planet, but we are the most brilliant people, I will tell you that.
Yeah.
And we have two of them here. I'm by no means, I'm not an engineer, I'm not a scientist, but I saw things and heard things I'm like, that would blow your mind at that time. Now some of it, you're like, well, we've been doing that for years. But at the time, you'd have never thought it was possible. Never.
And yet it is possible. Blake.
And they've been doing like experiments with, since 1967, genetic experiments that, again, they don't try to hide them, but they only give you so much information on them. And the things they can do genetically, nobody in the world should have any sickness whatsoever. None.
No. Pharmaceutical companies, how are they going to make any money, Steve?
That's coming, Steve. That's coming soon, I think.
But I'm just telling you that even back then, they would be like, oh, we can do this, and boom, done. And it's like, well, how come nobody's doing it? Well, we know it revolves around dough. We know it revolves around money. But the reality is they can do it.
Yeah.
I await the release of that technology because I think it's coming. I keep hearing it's coming. All right, Blake.
Yeah.
You saw the video. I think Grok agrees with me that the thing accelerates at incredible speed. If there was anybody aboard that, they'd be dead. At incredible speed. First of all, do you think that was a UFO? Secondly, do you think it's aliens or do you think it's us?
Oh, those are a lot of good questions. Of course, they can never show us the really good stuff where it's obvious that the high res things, they always stuff, that's could easily be dismissed because I don't know what I'm looking at. You guys are the experts on that. I have no idea what I'm looking at. That could be just completely made up. Now, unlike Steve, I do believe that there are aliens out there, that perhaps they've been reverse engineering technology, but it's also possible that it could be ancient technology from previous civilizations. I think humans have been around a lot longer than we realize. So that could still be out there, and they've kept that tech to themselves. I think they are 20, 30 years ahead with their science, and they don't want to share that stuff with the public.
Well, I mean, we know that. I agree with Blake 100%. I mean, they're finding artifacts that they claim we can only do on computer-operated machines that were done by hand, 1,000 years ago, 2,000 years ago.
The King's Chamber and the Great Pyramid. You got a lot of all these granite experts say you could only cut this with a laser. That they say that. So
Deb, I agreed with Blake. I didn't harass him.
Our cell phones used to be on Star Trek. Yeah, you're right, Deb. This is nothing more than the tricorder and the communicator kind of put together. It doesn't have the sensing device, but I think we're getting there. One last thing before we go, I wanted to say thank you to Roel Garza. You sent me a gift. I really appreciate it. It's a 1 ounce silver token.
Right.
Cool.
Silver bugs in space. It was really cool to get that. Thank you. I'm sure it's an ounce. It feels like an ounce.
Yeah.
So, thanks.
$70. You have to provide him with sexual favors. because
No, he's really cool.
You had one other video. You have one other video? You were going to show us something really interesting? Another video? Yeah.
What? I'm sorry. What do you want me to?
You said you had one other video.
Well, okay. No, I don't have that handy, but I might be able to find it.
Well, while you're looking for it, I just want to say Senator Ron Johnson is having hearings right now, trying to figure out why we are not allowing ivermectin to be used to treat whatever people want to treat with it. And I've written to him several times trying to get him to force Health and Human Services to stop misinterpreting the law and seizing and destroying our ivermectin shipments. We're trying to save lives here. People are trying things to save their lives.
Right.
According to the 2017 TRI-Act. And the Health and Human Services, RFK Jr., if you're listening, is stopping that from happening. They need to get out of our fucking way.
You know why? I'll tell you the latest why they're doing it.
Because they're trying to protect Big Pharma.
No, because the latest is that ivermectin stops ticks from biting you. Ooh. They just distributed ticks all over the country, and if you can go to the pharmacy or whatever, the drugstore, and pick up ivermectin off the shelf, you will not get that disease that causes you not to be able to eat meat. In fact, if you take ivermectin, they won't even bite you. Wow. They can crawl over you and they won't touch you. And I know that for a fact. I'm the experiment.
No, that's good. You got those chickens. I know there's certain breeds that really go after the
guinea fowl.
Guineas do. But I'm just saying that if somebody gets bit or they're in a heavily laden ticked area and they have access to ivermectin, guess what? They're not going to get bit, which means they're not going to get the disease, which means that the major corporations that want to sell you the stuff manufactured in the lab, you're not going to buy it.
Yeah, it's like 500,000 people, I think, now that have that got that.
My daughter was bit. Can't eat red meat.
No way. So for the rest of her life, she can't eat red meat.
Give her ivermectin.
Will it work, Brooks?
I don't know. Once you've got it, I don't know if it will. But
wow. Well, it doesn't hurt her to try it.
Doesn't hurt her to try it. That's true.
Sorry, Brooks.
They say antibiotics will cure it, but I'm that's still out.
Ivermectin is one of the safest medications ever made. Toddlers can eat it. It's safer than aspirin. And we're trying to save lives here. And I'm just saying something because we've had about $25,000 worth of our stuff seized and destroyed by HHS. And I'm pretty fucking pissed off about it.
Yeah, the guy you need to get to is Robert F. Kennedy, obviously.
I've heard his hands are tied. I don't know what's going on there. I'm a little disturbed by some of the developments I'm hearing. Brooks, you know better than I would, but I'm just from the rumor mill. The RFK wants to do stuff, but now they've got big pharma people that are.
These people are wicked. They're wicked.
But if you take it, they won't even bite you.
That would be some hell of a prevention.
I take it every day. So
yeah.
Well,
some countries they do take it every day.
I work out in the middle of 100 acres. Every year, I always get bit by ticks, have them on me, have to pull them off, blah, 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 the whole 9 yards. So I read an article on ivermectin, keeps ticks away, keeps them off of you. I started taking 12 milligrams a day, just one pill a day.
Yep.
And they jump on me. You can see them jump on you, and they taste you or whatever they do, and they jump off. That's never happened since I've been around ticks. Never.
Interesting.
Brooke, of course, I'm not finding it here. I know it's here.
I'm not giving you medical advice, but it also gives you a nice deep dark tan as well. So So if you want a tan, take ivermectin.
Yep. Forget the coconut oil.
Release number 2.
Now, and I will say this: spiders don't give a shit, but spiders will still.
Yeah.
Damn, I didn't. I'm just. I know it's in here. I'm just having a hard time, sorting through everything.
Yeah, I know how that is. I just wanted to get that in there because you can get it from my website. We are still shipping it. We're going to be very close back to our 4-day delivery performance. We're getting there. As you know, government was shut down for 9 weeks by the Democrats, and it created a huge backlog at U.S. Customs. Now we're beginning to get that stuff through, so we're catching up.
Lee, if it didn't answer your question, yes, I take 12 milligrams every single day for tick prevention.
Wow.
Just like this. This is a pack of 12 milligram tablets right here.
Wow.
Like I said, they don't bite. They don't even stay on you. They're like, whatever's in your system, we don't like it. Goodbye.
Damn.
Okay.
Great testimonial there. All right.
Couple things. I do have a version of the video. It's not the best one, Brooks, but we're going to show it.
Okay.
I want to remind everybody else also that about Pride Month. It's fine if you don't agree with us. I will remind you, Pride is one of the 7 deadly sins, and it's actually number 1. So,
and by the way, just for
your pride,
just for Mike's pleasure, I've been drinking Dr. Pepper the whole show.
Really? Wow.
You shouldn't be doing that. I'm quitting Dr. Pepper. Fuck you, Steve.
Well, you should have. It's delicious.
Do you know bad? You know how bad? Well, I allow myself 1 in the morning. That's it. I allow myself 1.
Well, I'm drinking one right now, and man, it goes down so smooth.
This is the.
I haven't had a soda, and I can't remember when.
This is the other video I was talking about. It's not the best rendition of it. It's not the directwar.gov one I would like to show you. But this one, Brooks, I cannot explain as anything but an authentic, quote, UFO. Let's watch this particular one. This is weird. Goes into the clouds, comes out of the clouds, goes off the screen, disappears. I have no idea what that is, but it changes direction. It's under powered control. It goes through the clouds, and there's more to this video. I don't know why these guys cropped this video, but it goes into a dark area and then disappears. And
it's having a Dr. Pepper. It's having a little sip.
Thanks, Steve.
How far up is that? I mean, how big is it?
Well, it's up in the clouds. They're several thousand feet up at least, but it's hard to tell the scale and all that stuff. So that's the other one I wanted to show you, Brooks.
Huh.
I'll when I get a link to it, I'll show you the whole thing. It's pretty freaking weird, but
it looks pretty similar to one that I photographed up at Mount Adams, and this was a daytime shot, visible light. And we could not see it with our eyes. We had several people standing there. We could not see with our eyes, but we could see it with our digital cameras.
Yeah.
So we lined 3 cameras up and we took simultaneous shots, and the object showed up in all of our cameras, but we couldn't see it. It was doing something, phasing the light around it or something.
I don't know what that big spherical thing is in the clouds, but it's really there. It's not an optical illusion. It sure as shit isn't a lens flare like some of the retards are claiming. And it's weird. So there's weird stuff up in the skies. All right, guys, we kept you long. That's going to do it. Long show today. Not even really an election show. I don't know if we have any California election results. Maybe we should go to the top of Twitter just in case. Let me go.
Not yet. I'm on Real Clear Politics.
Yeah,
I don't think anything's in.
Yeah, I don't think the polls have even closed yet. So we're not going to get much. But thank you guys for being here. I will be back tomorrow with Jen at 1 a.m. Eastern, 10 a.m. Reno time. We will see you tomorrow. We'll do an update on the RV stuff. Then I got Whiskey and Wisdom tomorrow night. Thank you to Dr. Brooks Agnew, Steve Doran, the Trail Boss, and TV's Blake Wally for being here for another spectacular and controversial edition of Toxically Masculine Tuesday. Let's get demonetized right now.